creatures of the night? It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Dynamite 5th anniversary. Before I do talk about that, I have to say congratulations to AEW for landing that deal with Warner Brothers. They finally got that Max deal. We're going to be having the shows on Max, and also they'll be doing pay-per-views on there for a discounted price. Whatever the situation is, I'm overpaying $50 for pay-per-view, like many of us are. And this is a really great thing for pro wrestling, not just for the company, but for pro wrestling as well. For any other promotion out there who is looking at AEW, seeing what they've been able to achieve in just 5 years, I hope that's inspiring other promotions to want to be achieving the same things or similar things in the future. That would be a pro wrestling win in general if we're able to have other companies out there also pushing out, wrestlers and giving great content. I would really, really love that. And man, kudos to AEW. They are doing the damn thing. The naysayers, y'all say whatever the hell y'all want. They're not perfect, but they're able to make moves that many pro wrestling promotions have not been able to achieve at all, even if they've been around longer than the 5 years that AEW has. So congrats to AEW for that. Now, let's talk about the show, because we started off with Jon Moxley, Marina Shafir, Pac, and Claudio. They are doing a promo on Wheeler Yuta and on Danielson. And when I tell you, that promo, they had that same kind of music that kind of just sound like noise in the background. It almost felt like they were talking to me in a sense where I felt scared. I was just like, holy shit, are y'all talking to me? Y'all threatening me? It was perfect. It was lovely. I love how they started off with this dark cloud over the show from BCC, and I thought it was really, really cool. Long story short, Wheeler Yuta, they want you to snap out of it. You ain't some like little creature just, that blends in with everybody. You are a lion. You are just like the rest of the crew in BCC. You need to get together and get back with the boys. Now, Marina Shafir even had something to say in her native language as well. I don't got a translator, so I don't know what she said. But she definitely came off very menacing. We also had Claudio there as well. He looks good. He looks so good. Moxley ended up wrapping this whole thing and telling Danielson that, hey, once I'm done with your Wrestle Dream, I'm going to send you home to your kids. And honestly, that sounds like a good thing, because I know the kids would love that. But coming from Moxley, that's not good. Now, after this, we do have our opening match. Ricochet is making his way out. And honestly, why was I thinking that this would be the main event? I don't know. I forgot about Ospreay and Okada. Now, Ricochet come out there, and then all of a sudden we see William back there with Uncle Don and with Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. They're talking. Uncle Don is just like, hey, I need to tell you something. And then William is just like, Unc, I got a match started in like 2 seconds. I don't have time for this. And then Uncle Don's like, well, we got a plane to catch. So he is walking away with Kyle Fletcher, wherever the hell they going. And then Takeshita, he's just still standing there. And I wasn't really sure if Takeshita was actually going to be with him or not. But I figured, shenanigans. Obviously, there are going to be some shenanigans going on between, all these guys in the beginning of the show. Now, really amazing match between William and Ricochet. When I tell you, they killed it. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this right now. I think they did such a great job that they exhausted the crowd. Tony Khan, don't go back to Pittsburgh. Ain't nothing going on over there anyway. They was making so much noise for this opening match that I hear not even a pin drop for the rest of the damn show, which was just ridiculous. Even when there was really great things happening in the ring, they were quiet outside of that opening match, which is, I didn't like that at all. Now, the chemistry was absolutely there. Their style is very similar, but they still complement each other very well in the ring. They are just absolutely amazing. I know I talk shit about William and being kind of sick of him, but man, he delivers every single time. And honestly, with the international title on the line, I really didn't feel like Ricochet would win this. And I kept thinking, something's going to happen. Interference for sure. What these motherfuckers end up doing is having this match in a draw, okay? Literally, William is laying on top of Ricochet, but on his back. So now what happened is both these motherfuckers have their backs on the mat. So ref is counting for both of them. So now it's a draw. And that's a good thing for the champion because the title don't go nowhere. Now, the crowd is booing. And you know, if I was there, I would be booing too. And they're just like, hey, no. We can come all the way over here to see this in the draw. Run it back. Ricochet is like, run the shit back. William is like, run it back. And then Justin Roberts come out there and say he just heard from Tony Khan. Tony Khan said, we're going to continue this damn thing. And then the crowd is happy again. And we continue. And it don't last long before Takeshita come on there and start whooping on both William and Ricochet's ass. And I appreciated that. I appreciate that very much. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it was going to be shenanigans. The draw thing was a little bit of a teaser. Now they had continued, but it wasn't going anywhere. Takeshita, after attacking both of them, goes to go get the international title, and he holds it. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, it looks right. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Takeshita is supposed to be holding that title. That's exactly how things are supposed to play out right now. And you know what? We'll see. My only criticism with this is that I wish Takeshita would have gotten the mic and said something. Takeshita, we seen you do karaoke. I know you can say something in English. Something would have been nice. Later on in the night, Tony Khan does confirm that's a triple threat match at Wrestle Dream. Takeshita, Ricochet, and William for the international title. Please, Tony Khan, please, Takeshita, give him the title. Now, after this, the Ass Boys are back there talking. I don't know what they're talking about, but it doesn't matter because Heyman Adam Page just walked through the building and he's killing people. And unfortunately, the Ass Boys were in the way and, you know, whatever. And it did remind me that John Moxley did say in the beginning of the show that there will be casualties. I don't know if Hangman is part of that group or whatever, but Hangman just started giving us some casualties that he was talking about. Now, after Hangman does that, we do have Big Bill in the ring, Learning Tree and all that. Chris Jericho wearing that yellow banana jacket with glittery pants that have just as much glitter as the witchy boots that he's wearing was insane. His fashion stylist, whatever, fired him. He looks absolutely horrible. Long story short, Chris Jericho's just talking about how he's a big influence into Dynamite and why the company even started. Boo, 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 boo. Who cares? And then remember last week he did kind of make that signal like he want to get his hands on the Ring of Honor World title. Here comes Chicken and the whole conglomeration coming out for whatever reason. Who knows? Long story short, Chicken go in there and they're talking, cutting promo. And then here comes Chris Jericho talking about Jay Briscoe, about how he was obviously the better brother and all that shit. And Chicken wasn't feeling it and he chopped him right under his neck, talking about, hey, take my brother's name out your motherfucking mouth. He did say that. He basically said that. And long story short, the title's on the line at Wrestle Dream. The Ring of Honor World title, Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe. I don't want it. After this, Darby Allin is in some junkyard cutting a promo. He's obviously not happy about losing his opportunity to go against Danielson at the pay-per-view. Because honestly, I don't give a damn about seeing Danielson versus Darby, and I don't think most of us did anyway. Long story short, he said he's gonna be at Wrestle Dream. He's gonna pull up, and if anybody wanna go against him, he has an open challenge. And whoever shows up at Wrestle Dream to go against him, they'll go ahead and make a name for themselves. I don't really know who this will be to go against Darby. I like him. I really do like him, but it is what it is. You, the one who wanted to put your little title shot on the line, you should have just beat the hell about Moxley and just say, hey, you ain't taking my title shot. But he got it. Now you want us to feel bad for you? We don't. We'll end up seeing who he's going to be going against at Wrestle Dream. Now, I do want to mention this before I forget. But apparently before the show started, Taz Taz got his ass whooped by somebody in the parking lot. Nobody knows who. Nobody knows when. Nobody knows why. He got his ass whooped, and they're trying to make you feel bad about it on commentary. That's why Nigel was taking his place on commentary for the night. I don't give a fuck about what happened to Taz. I think a lot of us don't care about what happened to Taz. We were happy to have Nigel on commentary. At least I was. He makes it, tolerable to listen to the commentary. Other than that, I don't know where they're going with this little storyline with Taz getting hurt or whatever, because honestly I don't think anybody's invested in hearing any of that shit. After this, we do have Hangman Adam Page going against Juicy. Now Hangman comes out first, Juicy comes out next, and before Juicy can even make it to the ring, Hangman said, I'm gonna meet you in the middle and whoop your ass. And they were fighting out in the crowd. They got he was hitting him with a belt, just whipping him the whole entire time. And even got a table set up to put Juicy through, but they end up making it to the ring and having their match. I think, this was okay. Hangman really had the upper hand here, and I was okay with that. But I was just like, man, it's been a while since we've seen Juicy in, singles action. I would love to see a little bit more from Juicy. This was definitely something to help make our boy Hangman look good. I can't believe I'm saying that. Our boy Hangman. I've never said that about him. He's definitely grown on me lately. Definitely. Long story short, Hangman takes the win with a buckshot lariat. And right after that, he's just like, you know what? I feel like whooping Juice ass some more. Then he goes on to take his belt out of his pants, and he went to go whip him with it, and then he put it around his neck, and he was hanging him off of the ropes. And then that's when our boy Jay White had returned and attacked Hangman from behind. They're fighting or whatever. Long story short, maybe at Wrestle Dream. They don't really necessarily say this is something that's going to happen at the pay-per-view, but I'm liking this. I'm loving seeing a feud. I don't want to see a match at Wrestle Dream. You hear me, Tony Khan? I want to see a feud between Jay White and Hangman Adam Page. No fights and we move it on. A feud. Please give it to us. Alright, so now after this, we do have DMD versus Serena Deeb. And I have to say, alright, the match was not bad. But I'll tell you what really brought the show down for me at this point. Even DMD from Pittsburgh could not get the crowd to say a motherfucking thing in this match. Now, they did cheer for her at first when she came out, yes. However, after that, crickets. Absolute crickets throughout this whole match. And I thought that was very interesting. That that they would have someone like DMD being at the show, because they know they'll get that reaction from having the hometown girl being there. But really, there was no reaction at all. Honestly, it was just two women in the ring and they were doing their thing. But I wasn't wowed or anything. But I do feel like maybe if the crowd played into it more, that they would have enjoyed it more. But then again, if they didn't enjoy it, then they're definitely not going to react to it the way that I guess people at home would have liked for them to react. It really was a shame. Serena Deeb obviously takes the L, and it is what it is. After this, Hook is back there with Renee Paquette, and Hook is upset because his daddy got attacked. And honestly, I have to be honest, the way he speaks, his camera presence, I'm not convinced that he's even mad. I'm not even convinced that he's really going to whoop whoever ass it was that attacked his daddy. I was just like, I'm not convinced. Like, I'm not hearing it in your voice. I'm not seeing it in your demeanor. It's like he's talking, but you just don't feel it. And there's a lot of wrestlers that's like that, where it's just like, and I kind of feel like that about Hangman a little bit earlier on in his career, especially around the time that he had the world title, where it was just like, I hear you talking, but I ain't feeling you. It's just like that with Hook. There's something about it. I don't know. Something is missing with Hook in a lot of places. But Hangman has worked through something like that, where I feel like you see it now. You see him an absolute madman lately. But in Hook right now, he's obviously the babyface. I get it. But I'm just not convinced. From an emotional standpoint, he's not grabbing me with anything that he says or does. And besides, we don't care about what happened to Taz. Now, after this, we do have our stepdaddy, who is talking about his accomplishments on Dynamite. He had nothing really to say about AEW and their accomplishments. It's all about him, and honestly, rightfully so. After this, we do have Mariah May and Willow getting into it back there. Honestly, I don't want to see Willow in a situation where she's gonna go for another title and not motherfucking win. She's been holding titles for other people to keep warm, and I'm not feeling it. If she's gonna win a title, I would love to actually see her be champion, not 30 days or less type of champion. Something meaningful out of her run. She works really, really hard to be where she is. I just don't want to see any situations with her going for titles and not even winning, or even holding a title for like a couple of days and just giving it up to someone else. I'm over that shit. Speaking of over it, Private Party came out there. They got new music. Cheesecake ain't escorting them or anything to the club or whatever. And they're going against the Iron Savages. They beat the Iron Savages in like less than 2 minutes. I could not believe it. The Iron Savages did get TV time on Dynamite though, because I don't even think they've ever had that. So that's interesting. But nonetheless, this was absolute waste of time. After they finished talking, they after the match they were talking, cutting a promo on the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, they end up coming out and they teased like they're gonna go put the title on the line. And for real, Private Party was only in the ring for like less than 2 minutes, so they would have been just fine having a match with the Young Bucks. Now, the Young Bucks, they actually don't end up making it all the way. And I don't know. I don't know. Something about it where it's just like I'm just like not feeling it. We did had what's his name? Jackson Perry and them, they ended up attacking. Then Shibata came and to help. I forgot to mention that Shibata and Jackson Perry had got into it in front of the little scapegoat bus and everything earlier in the night. Something about it I just don't care for. Shibata and Jackson Perry, like, what are we doing here? And on Rampage, what's his name? Christopher Daniels came to tell us that on Rampage it's going to be Jackson Perry, the Young Bucks, teaming up to go against Private Party and Shibata. We don't care. Now, they did tell us that MVP had an announcement. MVP comes out and Prince Nana interrupts. Prince Nana's like, look, I don't like y'all coming up in here and doing all this talking and stuff. Y'all must have forgot that I used to be a wrestler and I ain't got no problem lacing up these boots and start whipping people's asses up in here. Now, MVP's like, look, I don't do this complaining stuff. I don't take complaints or whatever. But he does. And then Persona turned around and then Shelton Benjamin. When I tell you, the crowd woke their ass up because they was asleep since after the opening match. They woke their ass up to see Shelton Benjamin out there and made a huge pop for him, which was pretty awesome to hear. But long story short, I don't know where they're going with things in terms of Prince Nana pretty much being by himself and Swerve on vacation or whatever the hell he's doing right now. It's great to see Shelton. I do feel like he'll fit in. I hope he will fit in. MVP, I think, will fit in as well. And it also makes me feel like maybe Bobby Lashley after this. We'll end up seeing what happens. I'm looking forward to see if they do end up having the whole Hurt Business or whatever it is that they're going to be calling themselves all together in AEW. I think a lot of people will be interested to see what can happen, especially not with them just as individuals, but as a faction. Now, before I do talk about the main event, I did forget that MVP did come on earlier in the night and gave a car to our girl Mercedes. It sounds good on paper, but I don't know how it will work out. CEO is in a situation where she may not need that right now, but we'll see what ends up happening. He did give her a card. She took the card. Very interesting. We'll see what happens if a woman joined that group. There are several women that I think that would be great for it, but Mercedes, I'm not sure, not yet. Now, main event, we had Kazuchika Okada versus the Dragon, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. The first 20 minutes of this match, though, the Continental title is on the line. Who the fuck is fighting for the Continental title? Nobody's fighting for that. Danielson don't want that shit. Look, I thought it was weird that this was even a thing. I don't really understand what was the point of that. And I understand if you wanted to put both titles on the line, like winner takes all type of situation, they could have did that, but they didn't want to sacrifice either one of these guys taking the L and one of them even losing. So the Continental title was only on the line for 20 minutes. Boo, 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 Tony Khan. Really great match between the two of them. I love this. And it was something about seeing Danielson hitting the Rainmaker that just made me feel like, oh, Lord, oh, my God. I feel all good inside seeing him hit that Rainmaker. It was so great. Man, these guys have really great chemistry with each other. Remember the last time, not the last time, the first time, I forgot what pay-per-view it was, Danielson broke his arm. They even had a match again where Okada, not a match, but when Okada had came to AEW, he was the one who had so-called broke his orbital bone. So obviously Danielson has his issues with Okada. Really great match. The crowd, I felt like, came alive here and there throughout the match, but still disappointing to see, like, how y'all just sitting there and just so quiet. I mean, I could not believe that. I couldn't believe it at all. While I did think that this was a great match, the entire time I'm looking around like, all right, where's Moxley? Where is Claudio, Pat, Marina? When they coming out? The whole time, that was what I was anticipating. We actually ended up ending the show 30 minutes later than usual. Tony Khan, that little overtime money, so they paid for it, and they had announced it earlier that they'll be ending at 10:30 Eastern. So you just knew there was enough time for shenanigans. Now, obviously, Danielson ended up taking the win here, and it was all right in terms of picking up the win. I would love to see them in the ring again under other circumstances, but like I said, the whole time we were looking out for Moxley and crew, and before he actually ends up taking the win, Moxley and crew was already coming through the crowd. You can see the crowd was getting up. They're kind of making a lot of noise because they know that they're walking around and waiting for their opportunity to get into the ring and attack Danielson. But obviously they're going to wait till the match was over. Match finishes, and Danielson is kind of out of it. Okada is upset. He goes to the back with his title like a pouty bitch. And then here comes the whole group coming over there to attack Danielson. Now, first they're picking him off the ground because Danielson is like disoriented, don't even know what year it is. And when they end up picking him up, that's when he starts realizing, oh shit, it's BCC. We not cool no more. And then here comes Moxley, and they're coming to go attack him. And Wheeler Yuta came out there with a hammer, and they scatter like flies. But then they're like, wait, is this Wheeler Yuta? He's just a little baby. He ain't gonna do nothing. Then they go in to go attack them. Now it's Wheeler Yuta, Danielson against them three. And I'm just like, holy shit, if only I can just go over there and help them. They need a third person. Obviously, I wasn't gonna be able to help that much, but whatever. Now, long story short, they end up regrouping because obviously Wheeler Yuta got that hammer. Claudio did end up taking it away, but I guess they're just scared of being in the ring with two other people that three of them can't beat. Whatever. Long story short, Wheeler Yuta get us on the mic and he said, look, I'm not a little baby. Stop babying me. I'm not a little boy. Danielson and I will team up to go against you two losers, which is Pac and Claudio. What he said, was it Collision or was it for Dynamite next week? Whatever the situation is, the story's advancing and I like it. I like where they're going with it. Wheeler Yuta's smack in the middle of this whole thing, and he's a young star, and I do feel like that's good that he's the one that's in the middle of this. Whatever ends up happening with the story, which I'm not sure where it's going, he needs to break out and be more of a star in this situation, and I hope he gets to be put over somehow with this storyline. The show, I think, overall, for a 5th anniversary, could have been better. They had clips playing throughout the night of other moments happened throughout the years on Dynamite, which was pretty cool, nostalgic to see. But overall, I felt like it could have been a stronger show, but we did have some good things, and Tony Khan was throwing some last-second things at us for us to look forward to in the next, 10 days or less for Wrestle Dream. Tony Khan, let's get it together. This is like we can't go back to this last second booking thing for pay-per-views. We're still paying $50 for pay-per-views. We got to get it together, girl. This is just not acceptable anymore, especially now that you got this little deal coming up. This last second booking thing for pay-per-views can't be a thing moving forward. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be doing a review again tomorrow for Ring of Honor. I'm dreading it. I'll see you guys then. Bye.